Okay. Now in this session we are going to learn all the concepts of algebra. Now algebra consists of more than 3 to 4 important topics, and let me tell you, algebra holds much more weightage in terms of number of questions that you get in all the management entrance exams. For example, if we talk about CAT only, you'll be getting around 4 to 5 questions from this particular topic. So what we are going to learn in this particular topic, let's understand first what are the important topics. First is equations, in which you'll be getting linear and quadratic equations, whether it is 2 variable equation or 3 variable equation. We are going to cover all the topics simultaneously, but today we are going to cover the most important topic of logarithm. Now, where this CAT, SNAP and MAT, you will be getting at least 1 or 2 questions from this particular topic. Now, as far as CET exam is concerned, you don't have much more questions based on logarithm, but yes, concept is important to solve all the questions of algebra, right? This concept might be used in all other concepts like your TSD or time and work. Some sort of example will be given based on this logarithm. Now, first is equation, in which you will be learning quadratic equations, linear equations in 2 variable and 3 variable. Second is logarithm. Third is series and sequence. Series and sequence, in which you will be learning arithmetic progressions, geometric progressions, and few special series. Also, you have one important questions in your CAT examination, right? For sure, you'll be getting one question from this and from logarithm. Now, next is functions and graph, that we'll be learning in the next upcoming lecture. So for now, today we are going to cover simple concepts of logarithm, and then I'll be solving few questions. In fact, I'll be trying to keep this session short, but yes, it is going to be very important for you all the management entrance exams. Now pay attention, guys, because we have a few formulas and properties to learn, so I'll be trying to keep it as simple as possible, because समझना बहुत important है. लॉग के क्वेश्चंस कभी कभी सॉल्व करते समय बहुत ही लेंदी हो सकते हैं, बट ट्रस्ट मी, इफ यू लर्न ऑल द प्रॉपर्टीज एंड all the formulas, basically we have 3 formulas, but properties are there like 6 to 7 properties we have to learn. So we will learn step by step. Each property I'll be explaining on the board, so that you can learn all those simultaneously in this lecture only, right? Let's start. First, before we directly going into the logarithms, we need to understand the concepts of surds and indices. Yes, for example, if I talk about what is a power m into a power n. Now, these kind of questions you have already solved, you have already used these formulas or numbers, but now we are going to learn this using alphabets or variables. Now, what I'm asking you, 2 power 3 into 2 power 4, how you will proceed to get the solution for this 2 power 3 and 2 power 4? Now, the basic concept is, whenever you have base in common, and if you are multiplying the both common base, so the indices का आपको करना होगा addition, that is 2 power 3 plus 4, right? So whenever you will be getting such kind of situation, like you have base common but indices are different, so all you have to do is just to add both the indices, right? Now don't get confused, I'm writing here dot as multiplication. So whenever you will be getting like this one, am plus an, we cannot add these two things because these are two different variables. For example, if I write 2 power 3 plus 2 power 4, now the rule and this equation is quite different, right? This is algebra, that is we are adding two concepts or two values and we are multiplying two numbers, right? So in case of multiplication this rule follows, right? But in case of addition you cannot use that rule. So all you have to do is to find out 2 power 3 and 2 power 4, that is 8 plus 16. Now this will be your final answer. Now where these concepts will be used? In case of polynomials, right? For example, x power 4 plus x cube plus x square is equal to 0. Can we add these equations like x power 4 plus x power 3? Can we make it as x power 7? No, not exactly. This is your polynomial in highest degree as 4. So if we cannot add these, so we cannot add a power m plus a power n as m plus n, right? I hope this is clear to all of you, because most of the student makes silly mistakes in adding these two things. Whenever you will be getting multiplication, then only it is possible. Next, what if I'm giving you a power m by a power n. Again, the base is common, right? So we are covering all the properties first of surds and indices, and then we will go into logarithm, because to understand logs, this is also important. A power m and a power n, so this will be a power m minus a power n, right? Why? Because this 1 by n can be reversed, can be written as the reciprocal of a power n. For example, a power n का reciprocal क्या होता है? A power 1 by n, right? So I can write this as a power minus n, right? Minus n. So whenever you have some indices or power of someone, so you can take it as reciprocal, just reverse the sign of the indices. Now, if this is true, then this is also true. If a power n somewhere you have given, then this will be converted as a power n, right? So whatever there will be as indices, you just take reciprocal and reverse the sign, right? So again, I can take this to the numerator and make it as a power minus n. So you will be getting the same value, right? So the first value, the first number is to understand a power m, and 1 by a power n can be written as a power minus n, right? So this is again using your first formula, you will be getting a power m minus n, right? So you don't need actually the proof, all you have to understand how this formula will be used, right? Now, third, for example, if you get something like this, a root n and mth root. First of all, the point is how to read this term. This is simple as mth root of a power n. Mth root, for example, if this is the case, root 2, we will speak out as root 2. What if this is cube? So we'll speak out as cube root. Okay. And what if I give you 4, right? Now this, all you have to use the root of third. So we will say as 4th root of 3, right? So this is the common pronunciation for this particular term. So again, if this is something like given to you, so all you have to do is a power n as it is, and then change the root as the reciprocal of that same number, right? So again, this can be written as second and 1 by 2, third root of 2, then fourth root of 3. This is how we will read, and this is how we will write. Now, for this, we need to understand one more formula. Let me write it as here. Actually, this was supposed to be the fourth one. Okay, let it be. Okay. So this is third, and this will be a fourth. What is your third rule? A power m bracket n. A power m bracket n. For example, 2 cube. So simultaneously with the properties, I am giving you a few examples to understand right here. So 2 power 3 power 2. Now if you look at carefully, this is the square of this 2 cube. So first of all, we need to get the value of 2 cube, that is 8, and then 8 square. Otherwise, I can directly write it as a power 3 into 2. All you have to do is to multiply these two indices, right? So 3 power 2, this will be 2 power 6. So again, using that rule, I can write this as a power m into n. Now don't get confused with 2 power 3 power, for example, 2. Both the terms are different, right? Don't get confused. This is the square of this entire term, and this is the square of this 3. So first you have to solve this one, that is 3 square. 3 square is 9, and this is 2 power 9. So both the terms are different, right? This is what you are getting as 2 power 6, and this is 2 power 9. So don't make mistakes while doing this value. So in fact, I can write it as here, this is not equal to a power m power n. Both the formulas are different. I have to first take the nth root of m, and then I'll use that to find out the value of a. But in case of your third rule, all you have to do is to multiply this m and n. This bracket will be solved by multiplying m and n, right? Okay. Now using this third formula, what will be the final formula for this? This will be multiplication of n and 1 by m, that is a power n by m. Okay. So far we have done all the 4 formulas. In fact, this is not the formula, but still I can write it as a power n can be written as a power minus n, okay, or a can be written as 1 by a power minus n. See, Whenever we don't have any indices, it means there is 1, right? Not as 0. 0 means a power 0 is 1 and a power 1 is a. So both the values are different. Okay. So all these simple formulas or properties I can say will be used to solve your bigger logarithm questions. So I hope these properties are simpler to understand. ठीक है, इसके बाद हम लोग एक दो क्वेश्चन इसमें अगर कुछ बचे होंगे, जो भी प्रॉपर्टीज बचा होगा, विल बी डूइंग ऑल दोस प्रॉपर्टीज साइमल्टेनियसली व्हाइल सॉल्विंग योर बिगर क्वेश्चंस ऑफ लॉग्स, राइट? फॉर नाउ जस्ट राइट इट डाउन. आई एम मूविंग फॉरवर्ड for logarithm properties. All right, let's move forward to learn all the logarithm. Now these are the surds and indices concept. Now first important, very important, as we have understood, a power n can be written as a power minus n. Same thing can be done with your log, right? Okay, let's start the basic formula first. Now not the formulas, we are doing properties and then we will look into formulas. We have basic 3 formulas, but to understand those formulas, to use those formulas, we need to use these properties. We need to understand this property in a deeper manner. First, what is the basic representation of log? This can be written as log x to the base a. How we will read this term? Log x to the base a. So if you recall from your 12th class concepts, those who have done logarithm in your base class, that is higher studies, 10th and 12th class, this was the first and very difficult part to solve, right? But we don't have to use logbook here. If you try to recall, you were using logbook in the 12th class, right? But right now we don't have to use logbooks. All we have to find out the value of x. That will be in terms of x square or 14 or 13. That will be doable. Okay, you don't have to look into the log table actually, so don't worry. All I'm trying to explain you guys, these are the properties which will be used. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5, whatever there will be number of properties, we will write it down, we will learn, and then we'll go for questions. Log x to the base a, this is the proper reading for this term, and this can be simplified further as log x divided by log a. Okay, now this is simple first simplification for log x and log a. So whenever if you see this kind of thing, log 3 and log 4, so I can write it as log 4 by log 3, right? Okay, so if I again give you log 3, log 4 and log 3, so this can be written as into log 3 and log 4, right? Using your first formula. Now if you see carefully, this is log 4 and log 4, log 3 and log 3 will be cancelled out, right? Now what is your formula? If you find out, second, if you have something like this, log ax into log xa, so your final value will be 1 because this will be cancelled out, or I can say these are the reciprocals of each other, right? Now this is the first and basic formula to solve log or property, I can say. Let's move further. What if I give you something like this, x power k? Now this k will be transferred to the multiplication with log, right? To remove this powers of x, all I have to do is to take it as multiplication to the log. So this will be k into log a x. Now you need to keep in mind while writing this thing, you need to write this very neat and cleanly, because don't get confused. This is not the power of a, this is not a power x. These two things are different. This is base and this is value that we are going to find out. Okay, so while writing, please write it clearly. People, what they do, they directly write it as ax. So am I writing a as the power of x or x as the power of a? No. So this is the wrong way to practice the question, because while solving question this might happen, you might go on the wrong writing. So keep in mind, this has to be very clear that log a as your base and x as your value. Okay, so this is the first third rule, that whenever you have x power something, so just take it down to the multiplication of log term. Fourth, what if this is the power of a, that is base? So what will happen to the power of base? Again, this k will be shifted to the multiplication in log, but the reciprocal of k, that is 1 by k. So log a x, right? So let's take an example. For example, log 3 2 or root 3 and root x. Okay, This is what I've given you. So root x can be written as 1 by 2, as I've explained in the surds and indices rule. That is, root a can be written as a power 1 by 2. So this is a power 1 by 2. So if I make this more clear, this will be x power 1 by 2 and 3 power 1 by 2, right? Okay, now using your third formula, this 1 by 2 will be shifted as it is to the multiplication, that is 1 by 2, and whatever they will be at the indices of 3's power, that is base power, will be taken out, but in the form of reciprocal. So k ka reciprocal 1 by k, right? So 1 by 2 ka reciprocal 2. So therefore this 2 will be in multiplication with this 1 by 2, and rest log term will be as it is, base with x, right? So this is 2 will get cancelled, and final value will be log 3x, right? I hope this is making sense, because properties are very important to understand while solving this question. All right, I hope you are getting this point. Now these are the 4 basic properties. I have make it this clear, right? जो भी x के पावर में वो डायरेक्ट सामने लेके आओ, और जो भी a के पावर में है यहाँ पे वो रेसिप्रोकल होके आएगा, राइट? सिंपल एज इट इज. नेक्स्ट, after this 4 property, let me write it as here. What if you have something like this, a power x as your first formula, but I can switch this both the base and value. But to switch these both values, you have to change the sign of your logarithm. This is log x and a. Okay, so to change your base and value, to interchange these places of these both the numbers, all you have to do is to change the sign of this log xa, right? So now you can see the values are interchanged. In place of x, you have a, and vice versa. But this is important. So this will be minus log of ax. Now, if you wonder how this value is coming, let me explain this to you. For example, this is log ax, right? Okay. Now, can I write this as 1 upon log of ax power minus 1, right? Using your indices formula, right? What it was, a can be written as 1 by a power minus 1. So consider this entire value as your one term. So if I take the reciprocal, I'll change the sign of indices. For now, I don't have any indices or powers, so I can take it as 1, right? So there will be 1 at this place. And now, if I take the reciprocal, this will be 1 upon log ax, and minus 1 will be as your indices. Now, if you look at this carefully, this minus will be taken out. So minus log ax, right? Because whatever the power of entire log, it means it is the power of x only, because whatever we'll be doing in log, we will be solving for x only. So if ये log का पूरा sign होगा तो वो x का sign होगा. This is simple, right? Now keep this minus aside, minus side में करके, तो ये क्या है अपना log 1 upon log x and 1 upon log a, right? This is reciprocal of log x and log a. So if I adjust this one, this will be something like this, log a upon log x, right? So I have done this using your first formula while simplifying this log x and log a, and now I'll have to interchange this number to reciprocal. So this is nothing but minus log x will be as base and a will be your value, right? So if you see, we started this question from log x to the base a, and we reached to the conclusion that is minus log xa. So you don't have to follow this thing. All you have to understand how this formula is, right? To use this formula, you need to learn this one. So whenever you need to interchange, because somewhere you will be getting this kind of questions to use in your final question. So whenever you will be getting log ax, to interchange the value of x and a, you have to change the sign of that log. Okay, next. Okay, let it be as it is. So these are the 4 basic, 5 actually basic properties, and now we are moving towards the final formula. Okay, final 3 formulas to solve your logarithm questions. First, what if we are adding 2 different logarithm terms, that is log a and log ax and log ay. Now we are adding 2 different log with the common base. So all I have to do is to multiply both the log. This will be log xy. Simultaneously, what will be the second one? Log ax minus log ay will be written as log ax by y. These are the two basic formula. First, these are very important. Okay? Again, if we are adding both the logs with same base, then only you can use this formula. Otherwise, you cannot do that. You have to add both the common base wala values. Okay. Second, if you are getting the subtraction of both the logs with common base, so we'll have to take the division of both the values of logs, right? That is x by y. Third, so far we are just learning properties and formulas to use log. But finally, we need to remove this log to get your final answer. Now for that reason, we are going to learn now final formula to remove your log. And how do we remove? For example, if it is given as log ax is equal to, let's take it as m. Okay. Now somewhere after solving your entire question, you will reach to this conclusion. Okay. Now if you see this kind of equation, now let me tell you once again, the value of x could be anything. It could be in terms of in the quadratic equation or linear equation, right? If I'm writing here x, it doesn't mean that there will be only x. It could be x square plus 2. So in that way only you have to proceed further. Now whenever you see this kind of formation, that is log a x is equal to m, I'll be giving example also, but first understand how this will be done. If this is given as log ax equal to m, then this will be written as x is equal to, because we are solving this for x, so therefore this x is equal to जो भी base है that will be shifted to the right side, and जो भी right side में था that will be shifted to the power of that a. Okay, now this is your final touch to solve or to remove your logarithm term. Okay, तो यहाँ से जो भी powers पे आएगा वो हम solve करेंगे. For example, let me take it as example, log 2x is equal to, for example, 2, or let's say as 2. Okay, now using this final formula, this will be written as x is equal to, because we are solving for x, so x equal to, ये जो 2 था ये होगा आपका right hand side. Let me take another value to avoid confusion. 3 square, this 3 will be shifted to the right side. Okay, and whatever there was on the right side, that will be shifted to the power of this base value, that is 3 square. So x will be 9. 3 square is 9, right? I hope these properties and formulas are clear. Let me recall this first before we directly go into the question. Okay, let's recall this quickly. First, we understood the basic properties of surds and indices, right? So surds and indices की property हम किस लिए किए, क्योंकि logs में ये use होने वाले हैं, right? So let me recall this for you. An can be written as 1 upon a power minus n. So whenever your value of an will be taken as reciprocal, just change the sign of the indices, not the value. A का value वही रहेगा. Again, a power 1 can be written as a power minus n. Okay. Next, a power m into a power n equal to a power n plus n. So multiplication में आपका addition होगा. Then division में अगर आपको base common है, so just take the difference, and how it came I just already explained. A power minus n यहाँ से, ठीक है? चलो आगे, a power m to the bracket n. So यहाँ से multiplication आएगा, a power m into n, that is multiplication होगा, and this is written here just to avoid confusion that this term is not equal to this term. This is different and this is different. So I have written it as not equal to. Okay. Next, what if a power n and mth root? First, how we will read this? We will read this mth root of a power n. Mth root of a power n. So this will be written as a power n as it is whole bracket 1 upon m. So m का बनेगा आपका 1 by m. ये यहाँ पे जो भी नंबर रहेगा, मान लो यहाँ पे 4 आया तो यहाँ पे लिखो 1 by 4, right? So we will read this as 4th root or mth root. Again, using your third formula in the fourth one, I can directly multiply these two indices, that is n by m, n into 1 by m, that is n by m. Next, okay, now these were the basic formulas, properties to understand logarithm. First, log x to the base a, this is the reading for this term and can be simplified as log x by log a. This is basic formula to understand. Now what if you find somewhere like this log 3 and log 2, log 2 by log 3, right? We need to use both the terms in the reverse manners as well, right? You should be able to do that. Now whenever you see these kind of two different log, what I can do using your first formula, if this is, then I can get this, right? As I can get this, so this will be log 3 2, this 3 will be transferred as the base of your entire log, the log value, and this 2 will be your final value. So this can be written as log 2 base 3. Next, done, this one is done. Then whenever you see the multiplication of two reversible log, that is log xa and log ax, so you will get multiplication as 1 using your first formula. Just simplify this. This one will be log x by log a by log x, and log a will get cancelled, so you will get final term as 1. Next, this was the property to shift your indices or power of value, that is x. So x के पावर में जो भी होगा वो log के multiplication में आएगा, right? यहाँ पे आ गया वो, ये यहाँ पे जो भी था वो यहाँ पे आ गया. Then अगर बेस के पावर में कुछ है, so that will be taken out but in the form of reciprocal. ठीक है, multiplication आगे ही आने वाला है but reciprocal के फॉर्म में. So a के पावर में k था, so 1 by k बन के आया. So already अगर वहां पे 1 by k रहेगा तो उसका reciprocal will be k only. So 1 by k का k and k का 1 by k. Next, it was said that log xa can be written as minus log ax. This property will be used to interchange the values, that is a and x को अगर आपको x and a करना है तो बस log का value change करना है. कैसे करना है ये मैंने आपको यहाँ पे explain कर रखा है, but this is not the important part. If you go through this property only, that will be more than enough. Okay, anything else we have? Okay, now these are the three formulas. Previously we understood all the basic properties, and now these are all the three formulas. Log ax plus log ay. So whenever you will be adding two different log with common base, so all you have to multiply the values of logs, that is x and y. Again, whenever you are taking a subtraction of two logs with common base, so you have to take the division of both the values, right? Just divide both the values, you will be getting the final term. And the final one, to remove log, because so far we are just using these formulas and properties, but how to remove your logarithm, because that will be your final part, right? So to remove log, this will be final kind of situation while solving your question. If you see something like this, log x to the base a is equal to m. Example is here, log x to the base 3 is equal to 2. If you see something like this, just transfer that value, x is equal to a will be shifted to the right, that is a power m, and whatever they will be on the right side, that will be shifted to the power of that base value. So x equal to a power m. To understand this with the help of example, this is the example I have written here, right? Now these are the important basic formulas. I hope you guys have learned. Just go through all the formulas and try to solve all the questions whichever given in your book. All the questions are available on YouTube or Google. You can refer your class itself. Otherwise, we have books. You can contact us for these logarithm questions. I'll provide all the questions for you guys. Now, let's summarize all these formulas or properties in one simple log question. Now, I'm taking direct questions from your CAT book. Those who are the ASK MBA students already, they have these books. So let me tell you, I'm giving you a question from algebra, page number 156, right? So let's understand the question. Okay, let's take the question first. So I'm writing it down here. आप properties आपके सामने रख सकते हो while solving this question. So for the few number of days, you can see the properties while solving the question. If x and y are positive real numbers, such that log to the base x square plus 12 is equal to 4, and 3 log to the base y x, this is y x is equal to 1, then x plus y is equal to what? Now this is your question, is from CAT 2023, to understand all the formulas and concept. First of all, if you understood the question, you just have to go through the question and try to solve. Otherwise, I am going to explain this to you guys. Now, pay attention guys कि भाई करना क्या है इसमें. सबसे पहले तो ये समझो कि इस पे कौन सा प्रॉपर्टी या फॉर्मूला लगने वाला है. कहीं पे आपको डायरेक्ट वो वाला फॉर्मूला दिखा है क्या? फॉर एग्जांपल log ax equal to m, then x equal to a power m. Is it the situation like given in the question? If you see, then directly use this formula. Otherwise, हम लोग देखेंगे भाई कौन सा क्वेश्चन हो सकता है. ठीक है, चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं सॉल्व करना. इसे थोड़ा सा छोटा कर देते हैं. चलो ये क्वेश्चन यहां पे है. Okay, the question is, I hope it is clear on the screen. Yes. If the x and y are positive real numbers, why this definition is important? Because जब भी हम x y का वैल्यू निकालेंगे तो मान लो आपको नेगेटिव मिला या फिर पॉजिटिव मिला, तो उसमें से हमें नेगेटिव या पॉजिटिव कौन सा वैल्यू लेना पड़ेगा? अकॉर्डिंग टू योर डेफिनेशन x and y are only positive real numbers. ठीक है, such that x log x square plus 12 is equal to 4. Okay, now pay attention guys. If you look at this carefully, this is again your final formula when the log term has to be removed, right? Log ax equal to m, then x equal to a power m. Now in this term, in this particular question, your x is given as x power 12, right? Let it be, no problem. Let us rewrite this question. So using your final formula, if you look at your notebooks, this will be written as x square plus 12 is equal to, your x will be transferred to the right hand side, and whatever there was right hand side, that will be transferred to the power of that x. I hope this is clear. Now again rewrite this question, x square minus x power 4 minus x square minus 12. I'm just transferring all the terms to the right hand side and keeping x4 as on the right hand side. So on the left hand side, you will be left with 0. Now if you look at carefully, again x power 4 and x square, ये माइनस हो गया, x square नहीं बचने वाला, बिकॉज यहाँ पे माइनस है. मल्टीप्लीकेशन होता तो एडिशन होता वहां पे, राइट? लेकिन ये माइनस का तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. सो x पावर 4 एंड x स्क्वायर का x स्क्वायर मत कर देना गलती से. लेकिन यहाँ पे हमें थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना है कि भाई x पावर 4 एंड x स्क्वायर minus 12, can we think of a quadratic equation here? Because to solve quadratic equation, we know the procedure, right? How to solve quadratic equation to get your final roots. तो अगर मैं इसे ट्रांसफर कर सकता हूं तो दैट इज ओके, बिकॉज सेकंड इक्वेशन भी अगर मिलेंगे तो वहां पे भी yx है, तो मुझे एक तो वैल्यू चाहिए क्योंकि x प्लस y निकलना है. सो वी नीड टू गेट बोथ द वैल्यूज ऑफ x एंड y. ओके, so just imagine, can we transfer or we can rewrite this term or this equation in terms of quadratic equation? Let us try this one. So whenever you see this kind of question in future, just keep in mind, if we have x power 4 and x square and minus 12, so I can rewrite this question in the form of ax square plus bx plus c. This is your general equation for quadratic equation, right? Now to transfer this equation into this equation, all you have to assume few values. Let's assume that x square is equal to a. Okay, तो अगर मैंने x square equal to a यहाँ पे put किया तो what will be? This is nothing but x square power square minus x square minus 12 equal to 0. Now if I'm assuming your x square as a, so just put the value of x square. So x square is a और उसका square minus this x square will be written as only a because x square is equal to a. Okay, and minus 12 is equal to 0. Now can you see that your fourth power wala polynomial now been converted to quadratic equation, and we know the procedure to solve your quadratic equation. If you don't know, just watch the previous videos of linear and quadratic equation which are available on this YouTube channel or in your previous batches. So now a square minus a minus 12, now we know how to solve this. All you have to understand, 12 के ऐसे कौन से मल्टीपल है जो मुझे बीच में 1 बना के दे, राइट? सो 12 के मल्टीपल यहाँ पे आपको 12 लेके आना है बाहर. Just take out your 12. 12 का मुझे मल्टीपल देखना है. So multiple is 3 and 4, right? Using multiplication of 3 and 4, I can rewrite as 12. Now we need to get minus 1 in the middle value. So minus 1 will be minus 4 plus 3. Now what we need to check? We need to check the product of 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 is minus 12. Okay, first condition is satisfied. Again 3 minus 4 must be minus 1. This a is written as minus 1a. Okay, now this is not your final value. These are the products. Now the value it will be, or the root will be minus 3 and plus 4. Because if you recall this question from your 10th class concepts, we will split this a in terms of 3 and 4. So you will be getting something like this: x plus 3 and x minus 4 is equal to 0. I'm not going to solve those equations. So after this you will be getting x equal to minus 3 and x equal to plus 4. But the moment you get your final product here, or the factors, you can directly take your final answer by interchanging their sign. So this is just shortcut to solve your quadratic equation. You don't have to understand this. Now 3 and minus 4 will be taken as minus 3 and 4. So value of x will be, or a is equal to minus 3 and 4. ओके, सो यहाँ पे माइनस 3 और 4, लेकिन a का वैल्यू 2 आया. अब यहाँ से माइनस 3 हमें क्यों कैंसिल कर रहा है, देखते हैं हम लोग. देखो x स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू a, तो भाई a का वैल्यू जो आएगा वो आएगा किसी टर्म का स्क्वायर बन के, राइट. सो किसी का स्क्वायर, कैन इट बी नेगेटिव? नो. सो a कैन नॉट बी माइनस 3. क्यों? अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग. a स्क्वायर, x स्क्वायर वाज गिवन एज a, राइट. तो भाई a जो बनेगा वो किसी का स्क्वायर बनेगा, और स्क्वायर बनने के बाद इट कैन नॉट बी नेगेटिव, राइट. इट हैज टू बी ऑलवेज इन द पॉजिटिव मैनर. सो इन दिस वे वी आर rejecting a equal to minus 3 and we are taking a equal to 4. Now if we put a equal to 4, so this will be x square is equal to 4, right. Again, what will be the value of x? You will say only 2. No, this will be plus and minus 2. Why? See, x square, so we'll put 2 square. 2 square is also 4. But what if I take minus 2? Minus 2 ka whole square, that is also you are going to get 4 only. So we have x equal to plus and minus 2. But again I will reject negative value. Why? Because it is clearly mentioned in the question that x and y are positive real numbers, and that is why these statements, whichever in the given questions, are important, right. So now ये जो मैंने a का वैल्यू कैंसिल किया है, बस नेगेटिव आया इसलिए कैंसिल नहीं है, क्योंकि ये स्क्वायर का वैल्यू था इसलिए मैंने a का नेगेटिव कैंसिल किया. सेकंड, x का वैल्यू नेगेटिव जो माइनस 2 आया था वो मैंने कैंसिल किया, डायरेक्ट नेगेटिव था इसलिए कैंसिल नहीं किया, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन में बोला था कि भाई x एंड y पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर्स है, ठीक है. तो यहां से मुझे x का वैल्यू क्या मिला, x इज इक्वल टू 2, राइट. देयरफॉर यहां से मैं अभी वैल्यू पुट कर सकता हूं. यहां से मुझे मिला x इक्वल टू 2. ओके, जस्ट राइट इट समवेयर. देन लेट्स गो फॉरवर्ड टू द नेक्स्ट इक्वेशन दैट was given as 3 log y x is equal to 1. Okay, now again using your final formula, all I have to understand this 3. So 3 can be removed in two different ways. First, यहाँ का स्क्वायर अगर यहाँ पे आ सकता है, जो भी पावर है, तो यहाँ पे जो भी है वो x के पावर में जा सकता है. Otherwise, can we make it as 1 by 3? Yes, this is nothing but your multiplication, so this will be 1 upon 3. Otherwise, I can directly write it as log y x cube is equal to 1. This is your logarithm formula for indices. अगर x के पावर में कुछ है तो वो राइट मल्टीप्लिकेशन में आएगा, तो अगर मल्टीप्लिकेशन में कुछ है तो वो x के पावर में जा सकता है ना, ठीक है. तो यहां से हमारा फाइनल वाला फॉर्मूला, विच वन, यहाँ पे दिया, पीछे लिखा था मैंने, देख लेना. सो x क्यूब इज इक्वल टू y राइट साइड में जाएगा, राइट साइड में जो भी था वो उसके पावर में जाएगा. ओके, तो यहां से मुझे x क्यूब इज इक्वल टू y मिला. x क्यूब इज इक्वल टू, सॉरी, x क्यूब इज इक्वल टू y, एंड आई नो द वैल्यू ऑफ 2, दैट इज x का वैल्यू इज 2. सो यहां से x का वैल्यू अगर 2 पुट करेंगे, सो 2 क्यूब इज इक्वल टू y, दैट इज 8 इक्वल टू y. Okay, so we have now both the values of x and y with the simple calculation of logarithm using all the formulas. And if I put all the values of 2 and 3, 2 and 8 in this final value, I'll be getting answer as your 10. 2 plus 8 is 10. So there are few more questions of logarithm coming in the upcoming advanced lecture of this logarithm. This session was to understand just your basic concepts and advanced concept for logarithm. So in this session we have done all the surds and indices topics, then logarithm formulas and properties, and we have used all the formulas. In fact, we have just used 2 and 3 formulas to solve this question. So as we will be solving few number of more questions, we'll be using all the properties. So make sure before watching your next session on logarithm, you recall all these formulas, just learn this and try to utilize all the formulas in your next logarithm questions.